They're yours. Hit that one more time. I am the number one determinant of the success or failure. Here we go. Of my students. Hey, y'all, you have a strong summer. Kick some butt next year. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's the mindset. That's the attitude. Love you guys.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. On in last week, I was at Kane University in Union, New Jersey. Today, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. Come on in, hit the share button, hit the retweet button. Let them know nothing stops this freight train. Let's see who we got. Shelly Amanda, Rochelle Rhodes. Let me know where you all are coming from as well. Renee Graham from Montclair, New Jersey. Yeah, Jersey in the building. We got Pierre Bunda, PC Bunda. We got Marcia Poe. We got who we got here from San Diego. We got John Curix, Kareem Anquay out there, Brick City, North New Jersey. We got Michelle Rhodes, Cynthia Farmer, Tara Pickett, Rakita Harris, Ohio Girl Jones. They're all in the building. We got Nicole Weatherby, Michelle Rhodes, Lysandra Brackens, Angela Wright, Wendy Chinchilla, Ebony R. Davis, Stevenson, Philip Douglas, my man out there representing Macomb in Denver, Colorado. We got James Wilburn, Yvonne Maria Slade Parks, Stacy Joseph, Lily Lanier, Michelle Rhodes, I said that already. Tony McClenny, she's tagging folks, and I appreciate you, Michelle. Hit that share button, hit that retweet button. We got the Queen, Kimberly Broughton Kafele, in the building. In fact, she's right here in the hotel room with me. Tommy Vincent Hilliard's in the building. Morgan Conyers, Tabitha Lakeese Lawson Seward. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. We got my guest in the building, Dr. Kiva Jeter, and we're going to be bringing her up soon. We got Kim Young, Albert Buckles, Kasherl T. Love, Gail Gray, Jacqueline Harris Solomon. Hit that share button as you come in. Hit that retweet, man. We got some serious conversation going today. So I want you to make sure you hit Jay Johnson, Kimberly Carruthers, Candace Norwood, Shannon Adams. You know, I got your partner next week, Shannon Adams, coming on here. Lynn Mara, Cologne. We got my man, Rashard Davis, met one of your colleagues yesterday here in Vegas, sir. I know you know that already. Good to see you virtually. Jeanette Willis, Angela Wright, Nicole Weathersby. I think I said some of them names. Belinda Boyd, Marika Nickens in the building. Yvonne, I think I said that one. Maria Slade Parks is in the building. Where we at? Alan Coart, Niagara Falls, in the building. Who else we have here? Nicklin West, Candace Norwood, Sherrod Lamont Laws is in the building. My man, Renee Rodriguez, Tabitha. I said that one. Maybe I didn't. Locks Lawson Sue. Yeah, I did. Lisa B. Woods, Herman, Albert Buckles, Olivia Stone. I'm getting ready to get it rocking, y'all. Hit that share button. Hit that retweet button. Let them know it doesn't matter where I am in the country, where I am in the world. We still going to get this done. You know, folks ask me to keynote different events, and I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll definitely do it. Just schedule me around the virtual AP Leadership Academy because this takes priority. That money looks good, all that kind of stuff, big audience, but this takes precedence. Lucretia Lewis, Yolanda McKinney's in the building. She took off that missus, but I'm so used to saying it. But Yolanda McKinney is in the building. Crystal Nolan, Brandon, Melissa White. I'm getting ready to get it started, man. And before I start, I said I wasn't going to be screaming and shouting in here, but I'm in Vegas. I went downstairs a few minutes and the casino is packed. So everyone must be up. So let me just use my regular voice. So without further ado, let me say formally to each and every one of you, good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 97. Man, I don't know where that time went. Week 97 of the virtual AP Leadership Academy. And I don't know about you. I think I know because you're here. But if I could just speak for me a minute as I look outside and see the Vegas Strip, I'm on fire. I toned it down just slightly. Somebody might be asleep. But let me say this to you. I say it all the time. I said, matter of fact, last week when I was on site at Kane University, and I talked about the fact, these are tough times. I'm looking at that Dow Jones, that NASDAQ, that S&P, and them red numbers and letters, and that money plummeting. Man, I'm losing a lot of money. I'm losing a lot. All that money I worked for all these years, I'm losing it right now. But you know something? It doesn't douse my fire. It does tick me off a little bit, but it doesn't douse my fire. My fire is still intact. So I'm gonna remind you one more time that I'm on fire. Woo! I toned it down a little. Let me jump into some things here, y'all. Before we get started, my motivational message on this 5th day of March, the first day, formally of the American Revolution, Black man, Crispus Attucks, first person who happened to be Black dying for the independence of this country from Great Britain, right? So I don't want to forget that. It happened on March 5th, 1770, for those that may not know. But this is Women's History Month, and I'm bringing on 4 women for the 4 Saturdays that we're on. And before I get to my first guest, I'm using quotes for my message from prominent women. So this one, I took it off the web from Maya Angelou, and it reads as follows: "You may encounter many defeats," and I mean I could do the whole broadcast or a whole broadcast just on this quote. "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." Once again, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. Man, that's powerful. Hit that share button, hit that retweet button. Let them know we in here bringing smoke, we bringing power. But speaking of that, let me just speak to it. I've said to you many times, those of you who have been with me all this time, and just various times I've brought this up, I suffered defeats, several. I went through them. And when I say defeats, I don't mean like, okay, I had a bad day here and a bad day here. I mean, I had things come my way that could have been career ending, those kind of defeats. So when I read this and decided I want to use this morning, because again, she said, you may encounter many defeats. And she said many, but you must not be defeated. Let me stop it right there. So I encountered many defeats, but then I had one that kind of encompassed all the others. And I didn't let it defeat me. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I didn't let it defeat me. I encountered the defeats, but it didn't defeat me. So I'm saying that to say to you, you can't allow the defeats to defeat you. But then she goes on, in fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats. Because I'm adding the word because. So she's saying, so you can know who you are. So you know what you can tolerate. You know what you can handle. But if you don't have those defeats, you don't really know the true essence of you, because you don't know what your makeup is. You don't know what you can tolerate. You don't know what you can endure. You don't know what you can withstand. So again, so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. Man, that's powerful. So, put that, you can Google that. It's with Maya Angelou quotes, and I'm sure it will come up. Let me keep going. Let me say welcome to all the first timers today. You see me holding my phone, perhaps because I don't have printed notes. I'm not on the road, right? So I'm on the road. So welcome to all the first timers. Those of you that want to see all the previous 96 videos, go to my YouTube channel, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and you can binge watch them all. 96 hours of content. No, I should say more than 96. All of these are like an hour and a half, but some of them are 2 hours. So let's say probably almost 150 hours of content to help you in your role as AP, as aspiring AP, as new principal, even veteran principal, right? We got vets that watch as well. The books, I always let you know. Here's my newest one, The Equity and Social Justice Education 50. Make sure you get yourself a copy if you don't have it yet. It's still doing extremely well. And then the book that coincides with the Academy, The Assistant Principal 50. All these books, you can get them right on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And then my Aspiring Principal 50. This means aspiring to become assistant principal or aspiring to become principal, either one. And that's the only three I'm going to show you today. I always tell you what I'm rocking. Somebody might look at me and say, "Oh, you got a Yankee shirt." Nah, you've never seen a Yankee with a white pinstripe that says New York on it, right? If it's a home jersey, it's got the Yankee logo on it. This is the New York Black Yankees, Negro Leagues, and that's what I wear on these Saturday broadcasts. So the Negro Leagues, I'm representing New York today, the New York Black Yankees. And then finally, I think I'm ready to go. So I have a guest here today, and she's been rocking with us from the beginning as just one of the folks as part of the Academy. But I've always known that she's a legendary principal, a retired principal, but legendary in the Chicago area, Chicagoland area, a product of Chicago. So I want to bring her up and let's have a conversation. So first and foremost, let me say good morning to Principal Jeter. Good morning to you, and how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm retired, but I am still on fire. I'm on fire.
I love it. When you said the energy, when you said I'm retired, I said, I bet she's gonna say, but I'm still on fire. And there it was. I need to use that one sometime because I'm retired too,
Yes.
and, retired and still on fire. So, even though you're not in the classroom, in the school as leader anymore, you're still a leader and you still live in life. So as I've been asking a lot of my guests, tell me, and I hope I don't put you or anybody on the spot when I do this, but tell me, with the past week, what was a win that you had? What's something that you experienced, or something you witnessed, something you saw that may inspire somebody else out there, one of your wins?
Every day is a win for me. When I wake up in the morning, that is a win for me. But when I speak to my former teachers, my former colleagues, my proteges that I'm mentoring, when they come back to me and say, "Hey, it worked. I got it. I'm doing this," it inspires me and keeps me going. And especially when I talk back to some of my former students who are making it, who's just excelling high, that is my win every day, every day.
Yeah.
So it's not just one day out of the week, every day. When I wake up every morning, when I'm blessed for that, that's a win for me.
I love it. And that's inspiration. You see, I had to put Superintendent Miller up on the screen.
Yes, that's my girl. Yes.
Out there representing out there in Illinois. Let me share with the audience. Let me let you know who we got here. I'm gonna read this bio to you. Dot Jeter was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. She's a product of a strong family, moral support and guidance. Dot is a mother of 2 grown children and 4 grandchildren. In 1974, I bought an Eldo on today. Sometimes we bring young folks, and some of y'all Some of y'all older than the guest I bring on, and you need to hear from somebody that might be a little older than you sometime, right? It's been in this business a little longer than you. So in 1974, Dot graduated from Morgan Park High School. She went on to continue her formal education at the National College of Education. In 78, Dot earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in education. In 91, she received her Master's of Arts in Administration and Supervision from Roosevelt University. And in 2006, Dot was a recipient of an honorary doctorate degree in education from the Gospel Ministry Outreach Theological Institute. Dot Jeter served as a teacher of language arts coordinator, and assistant principal for the Chicago public school system. She served as a principal in school districts 149, 155, and 148. Dot retired in 2017 with 33 years in education. Let me say that again, 33 years in education. 24 of those years in administration. So you talk about 24 years in leadership, that means she knows a little something. Immediately after retiring in 2017, Dot started working as a mentor for new principals through Governor State University School of Extended Learning, new leaders mentoring program. And I'll say before I continue, I always say to folks that I know that are in these mentoring programs, that's like the ideal job. If you've been a principal and you have an opportunity where you spend your life after post leadership mentoring new principals, I don't think it gets any sweeter than that. You know, you're helping the leaders of tomorrow. And maybe I'm gonna do something like that one day as well. During Dot's years in education, she was honored in many capacities from various organizations for her outstanding support and leadership ability. Her notable awards are the You've Made a Difference Award from the Youth Unshackled Ministries Encouragement event in 2005. In 2008, she received an award from Greater St. John of Markham Church, a motivational speaker for their first annual youth rally. Dot has also received the Strathmore's Who's Who Award for demonstrating outstanding leadership and achievement in her occupation, industry, and profession. Finally, in 2017, Dot was a recipient of the Stanley L. Golder Leadership Award, finalist, Golden Apple Foundation. Dot is a visionary, and like so many other visionaries, she is guided by her spirit. She is extraordinary, has extraordinary ideas, and has a wonderful gift of inspiring those who are around her. So with that being said, you've done a lot in your journey, and I congratulate you for that. Let's jump into it, but I want to say to the folks out here, hit the retweet, hit the share button, let them know we're here. We're ready to jump in. And my first question to you, I'm gonna just refer to you as Principal Jeter, because I know you use that as well. Principal Jeter, as an educator, who is Principal Jeter?
I am one who inspires and transforms. I am always going to be a leader, always. I'm one that makes a difference in people's lives.
So, did I cut you off, or were you finished?
No. Go ahead.
No. If you were going, keep going.
Oh, I'm just one with, I just love inspiring others, and making a difference. I just want the audience to know too, this is my first live, so bear with me. My first live.
Yeah, you on television.
Yes.
You love inspiring others. Where's that coming from? Because everybody doesn't necessarily want to inspire others. Some people just want to be inspired. They want to feel inspired. Where's that motivation coming from to want to inspire people outside of you?
I love to see people grow. I don't know if you can see this teddy bear back here, but that's my mother and father. When my parents passed away, the hospice volunteers made something, clothing, made a bear out of my parents' clothing so they can always be with me. So they continue to inspire me. But I love to see people grow. I'm not hung up on worrying about somebody getting ahead of me. I want someone to grow. I've worked with people who don't like sharing their knowledge and their skills because they're afraid that somebody might go over and beyond. That's my high for me. When I see somebody pass me up and take what I've given them and go to a higher level, that's a high for me. That is truly a high. I love pushing people on. I love it.
I love it too, because everybody, some of us are threatened by other people. I'm the same way you are. If I've got an assistant principal, I have no problem whatsoever helping that assistant principal to just grow beyond anything that I could ever do. Right? I'm not threatened by that.
Mhm.
I'm not threatened by training a speaker. I met a young man right here in Vegas yesterday, and I mean, if I was to put a price tag on what I gave him, I probably gave him in the maybe 10 minutes that I talked to him, I probably gave him like $5,000 of gain, right?
Mhm.
But I don't have a problem with that. He's like, oh my God, like, can we stay connected? I said, yeah. Hey, here's my contact information. Because if I see him, and next thing I know, I see him all over social media, and I see him in the circuit, and he's doing his thing. I know I helped him to get to that place by dropping them gems yesterday at this hotel. So I'm not threatened by that either. I want to be able to inspire and encourage others as well. So in terms of you coming into education, what made you enter? Because people that know you're brilliant. So why'd you choose education when you could have chosen so many other things?
I always wanted to go into education. I always wanted to become a teacher. I used to play school when I was a child. I had the blackboard on a stand, and at the time when you would receive the TV guides through the mail, I used to pull those out and put them on the bed and pretend that was the students sitting in rows. I've always wanted to go into education, but I did not want to go into administration. My parents pushed me into administration to become a leader. I remember I was always going home, and I'm talking to my parents when they asked me, how was your day? I says, oh, this happened, that happened. The principal did this. I don't understand why he did that, and and so on. So one day I came home, my mother called me and said, I want you to come over here. And so I went, I says, okay, because they lived around the corner from me. And I walked in, I said, what's up? And so she said, you start Monday. And she was pointing at these books on the table. And I said, starting where Monday? She says, you starting at Roosevelt to go into administration. I go, what? And her exact words was, funk with my money. She didn't say what, she said, funk with my money. And I said, well, how did you enroll me? Because I didn't sign any papers. She says, I have my connections. So she enrolled me because her goal was that, her thought was, instead of sitting back complaining about a situation, if you don't like how a situation is going, then you do something about it to make that change.
Yeah.
And my dad saw something in me, that I was a person about change and changing lives and changing things, how they were going if they weren't right. So they pushed me to go into administration. And then when I got there, I said, oh, I missed it. Yes, I need to do this. I need to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm always be a teacher. I used to love when teachers would come to me and say, oh, I'm not having a good day. This is happening. I said, no problem. Take some R&R, go in the teacher's lounge, get some coffee. I went right into that classroom. And that gave me the opportunity to still stay connected with my students. So I love it. And I'm always going to be in education. I stay abreast on everything. I listen to you. I listen to the Sean Hart. He wasn't around when I was, and I'm sorry about that, because his way of dad is like, woo, but I share all of that. So I'm going to always be an educator. I'm going to always be a teacher, and I'm going to always be a leader.
I love it. And shout out to Sean, who's in Boston as we speak.
Yes, he's in Boston. Yes, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even though I some of my next question, I got a little bit of it from your response, but I'm still going to ask the question. Leadership. There's a lot of different reasons why someone wants to lead. I had my own reasons. Next person has their reasons. I had mine, and particularly the one that sort of superseded everything else. What's that one that you said, yeah, I got to do this above everything else that could have been a consideration?
I had to do it because I had to be a person of change. You know, you have people in positions, and I might go on a roll right now, and I might go off your topic, but you have people in positions, especially in state positions, that make these decisions and tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do, and never been in a classroom. Never been in the classroom at all. You have you even have people in positions over you in your district who never been a teacher, never been a principal, but yet telling you what to do. I wanted to be a person of change, practical changes to make a difference in people's lives, students' lives, my parents' lives. I just, I don't want to go on and on, but I wanted to be a person of change.
Yeah. Well, but I want to stay there, and I know you can't stay all day on here, so I'm gonna be mindful of that.
But if I get hot, I'm gonna stay on here. I'm gonna be just like your show the other was it 2 weeks ago, 3 hours. I'm going, man, when are you gonna stop, Principal Campaign? Like that 3 hours was
that was
long.
3 hours back.
But it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah. But I experienced the same thing. It was that if I want to contradict myself and talk about things that can douse my fire, it's having leadership above me that hasn't walked in my shoes, right? That don't know my journey. Like, you don't know what I know, but you expect me to adhere to what you want to give me, right? But you don't know this world. You don't know this walk. You don't know this journey. You don't even know this environment, right? In terms of urban education. But you feel because you got hired that you're that person. So I'm the same way, and a portion of that is why I'm this entrepreneur to this day, because I knew one thing. I knew, if I didn't know anything else, that I had a birthday coming on the same day every year, and meaning that I'm getting older. And as I was getting older, the superintendents were getting younger, right? And didn't, again, not to pat myself on the back or come across as if I know everything, because I don't, but I question if you knew what I knew, right? If you understood my journey, right? Had you been in all those layers that you just talked about as a teacher, going through the channels, or you just, somebody, and they gave you this position, and now here you are, and I got to follow your command. I hear you, and I'm sure that there's some people out there who are experiencing the same thing. And your journey may not be my journey. Your journey may not be Principal Jeter's journey. You got to figure it out. Some of us, we can be good soldiers regardless. I'm not that guy. I can't be a good soldier. I gotta branch out and do something else where I can have peace of mind and I can live my life on my own terms. Period.
That's right. You have to do that, because they make it. I remember when I first started at this one school, Roosevelt, and the superintendent said the state wants us to start looking at data, because when they started sending out data and the test results, it was just a percentage. 30% of your students are meeting, and 20, etc. But the data wasn't broken down, it wasn't analyzed. So she told me, she says, well, we have to start looking at data. So I sat back and I says, okay, because we was in our evaluation meeting, you could say, and I says, okay. I says, well, can you help me look at data? She says, no, I can't. I says, oh, okay. So I immediately went back to my building and I called the state and I asked them, did they have anybody in their building can help me break down the data? They told me no. But this is something you want me to do. And thank God for NAPSE, because I was going to NAPSE every year. I hooked up with Asa Hiller, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, to name a few, and asked them, I need some help. And we all sat down at the table along with some other superintendents from different states and everything. And they says, baby girl, this is what you do. And they just started showing me how to break. And I go, oh my goodness. And I says, but that's to show you you have people in the higher ups telling you what to do, and they don't even know how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
But you're going to hold me accountable. It was just crazy. But you have to, as an administrator, and I'm going to say a leader, because a leader wears many hats. You're running a building, you're a mother, you're a father, you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a grandmother, you're everything. You have to learn how to reach out and ask for help. Help is not a bad word. It is not a bad word. You have to have a team, people who believe in you and believe in change, believe in your vision, the school's vision, and want to move forward. That is a must. You cannot do it by yourself. You have to reach out, but know who you're reaching out to.
Oh,
you know, you have to know who you're reaching out to.
Yeah, let's stay there.
Yeah, because I had a wonderful team. My team at my school, we were family. We were a family. I attended funerals, divorce hearings, births, everything. We were family, and I had a great team.
That's the word right there, family. You know,
Yes.
that's what we want to build. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, going back, you dropped some names. You know, that's educational royalty. When you said Dr. Asa Hilliard.
Oh, yes. Deep.
Njufu, and what a beautiful thing that they took the time to listen to you and to speak with you and to guide you.
Oh, they didn't have a choice. I grabbed them. Hey, I need you. No, it wasn't like, sir, excuse me, I need some help. No, I grabbed it. I need to talk to you right now. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's you know, when you say that, it makes me chuckle because I'm thinking about there are people that do that to me. They're like, yo, you can't leave right now because I have issues with my work at my job, and I need you to give me something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. But you know, you also talked about that word help. And you can't be afraid. Let me holler at the audience real quick. Somebody in this audience, you can't be afraid to ask for help because you don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know everything, and I do this broadcast. I speak all over the place, you know, but I don't know everything. I'm always in some journal, some book, some website, something, because I gotta know certain things, right? So you can't, or people. So you can't be afraid to ask for help. But as Principal Jeter said, you got to be mindful of who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be strategic in this thing because you might be asking the wrong person who may have a different agenda that undermines everything that you're trying to build within that capacity. Right?
That's right. That's
Be
right.
Careful.
And research, just read, you know, and I never was afraid to tell a teacher, even with my students when I was teaching, if I didn't know, I would tell them, I don't know, but guess what? Let's learn about it together. Let's look it up together. I was not afraid to tell people, I'm not sure, but guess what? I know some people where I can go to get this help, you know, get this knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't afraid to tell people that. And I'm still not, even with my proteges that I mentor. If they ask me something, you better rest assured I have, as Verizon say, I have my peoples behind me. You know, I know where I can go to get the help.
Gotta know where to go. And you know, before we move on, let me say this too. Conferences. We have to attend conferences. Right. And a lot of times, if I can be very specific, a lot of times at the mainstream conferences, the representation of African Americans is very small, it's very low. Now I ask why, and you know, the typical answer is there's not enough Black presenters, that type of thing. Fine. Then use your voice. Bring in more. I cannot tell you how many Black presenters I've brought into mainstream conferences, which is inclusive of Sean Hurt, right? It's so many that I've brought into these conferences because people of color are looking for people that look like them, that have the same experiences within the same pigmentation, right? So it's important that we attend these conferences so that we can learn the things that we don't know, but we can also network with people who are doing the same thing, who are having the same challenges. But sometimes we think we're alone in this thing, not realizing, no, there's people all over the country who are experiencing the same thing, but you got to be in that space with those folks.
Yeah.
But since you plug NABC, National Alliance of Black School Educators, man, that's an important conference. And I'm going to add to that Black Educators Rock under one of my buddies, Dr. Melissa Chester, as the president. Those are two important conferences relative to the African-American educator at all levels, from superintendent all the way down to the paraprofessional, right? So Principal Jeter, let's get into the meat of this conversation. We still in the intro.
Oh, I thought we were in the meat already.
Here we go.
Okay.
And there's a couple in the intro I skipped because if time permits, I'll come back to them. But you know, you started your administrative career you started your admin career in 1992 as an assistant principal and served as an AP in Chicago and the Chicago area until as it's called Chicagoland. You were in Dalton and other places until 2000. So I got a 3-part question for you. The first part, letter A, we'll call it, how is the assistant principalship different today from what it was when you were an AP?
When I was an AP, I did not have a mentor. I was not able to look up good leadership. I was out there on my own, where there's now an AP can be a part of a mentoring program to help them. But I want to say is that being the AP, not without me saying it, I'm trying to say, not all principals are good, a good support base for APs. Okay, put it like that. I learned through watching being an AP, watching other principals and networking what was right and what wasn't right. I'm trying to be very. I just learned from mistakes of others watching, and when I was an AP, because I didn't have a mentor at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of praying. I'm not going to lie. I did a lot of praying, because that was the only person the man upstairs that I could turn to, because you really didn't have anybody back then, to go to. You had to be mindful of who you asked or who you confide into. So now it's different. It's different. It's different.
And I bet you there's some people on the call, either live or who will see the video later, who will say, not for me, it's not different. Somebody on here will say, I feel isolated as well. I feel alone myself. See, my AP year was 1998, and I was alone. There was the principal in the building, but I didn't learn anything. I learned nothing. I had to literally teach myself.
Yeah.
Something, Principal Jeter, I know, and I can embrace the fact that my principalship was unorthodox. And I'm reminded of that a lot when I'm out on the road speaking, because I'm saying things that in my mind, in my gut, I'm saying these are kafele things that I don't even know that you can do, because it's just innate with me. It's me trying to figure out how to lead, but not doing it by the textbook, right? Not doing it by the grad program, but just getting in there and doing what I feel works, and it works for me, but it may not necessarily be transferable, right? So that was one of the challenges, and I bet you there's somebody out there that you probably got to figure it out too. But as Principal Jeter said, you got to seek help. You got to ask somebody. You got to talk to somebody. You got to network with somebody. Right. So the second part of the question then, as an aspiring principal, someone who, and I'm sure there's many out there, as an aspiring principal, what did you find to be particularly challenging in your role as AP, in addition to what you just said, when you knew that I think I want to go to that next level? What did you find that was difficult in terms of making that transition?
My challenging times as an AP was trying to prove myself to male leaders who felt they were dominant and they knew everything. And by me being a Black female, I didn't know anything. I was just supposed to follow. Yes, as an AP, you follow, but also you need that opportunity to lead, to demonstrate your greatness. But don't allow male dominance to rule over you. Yes, you are a female and you're just as knowledgeable as that male you might be under. That was my challenge when I was an AP. I had to constantly prove myself that I was capable of being a leader, being an AP, and was constantly knocked down. Constantly now I would bring up saying, oh, that won't work and but somebody, a male can come along, a teacher, and suggest something, and oh, that's the greatest thing ever, so that was a challenge for me. Yeah. That was a challenge for me, and that I had to prove myself not only as a female but a Black strong female.
And I want to I want to remind folks out there watching that I didn't say this in the intro, but it's on your screens, on your whatever platforms you're watching. I'm calling this the Women of Color in School Leadership. So if there's any young man, there's any man out there that feels like, I don't like what's being said, listen, I got 4 guests coming on in March. I got 4 women coming on in March who are going to talk about, 4 women of color, Black and Latino, who are going to talk about what is it to be in my role through my lens, not through somebody else's lens, through my lens. So if something hurts, embrace it, and then hold up. I brought it all the way to Vegas with me.
That's right.
Hold up your mirror and ask, I might be a victim of what's being said here. Mm-hmm. I may need to make some shifts in my leadership, in my training of my AP, who happens to be a woman or happens to be a woman of color, right? So with that said, let's I said it's a 3-part question, and as you're answering each one, you're answering the one that comes after, but I'm gonna still post.
Great minds think alike.
So when you moved on to become a principal in 2000, did you feel that your assistant principalship prepared you in any way for the principalship, or did you have to just figure it out once you got on the job?
I prepared myself for it because, as I said, I didn't have anyone. I prepared myself because I read books, I researched, going to NAPSI. I had to prepare myself for the position. And personally, I think I did great mentoring myself. I didn't have the help like I'm giving others now. That's why I can feel their pain, and I'm there for them. I'm there for them. But it was really something, and I'm going, because I just want to share my stuff. And Jawaza Kunjufu made a mistake at one time in NAPSI in Nashville in calling me up. We were in an audience, over 1,200 people were sitting in the office or in an audience, and he said, I want to bring someone up who's been using my strategies to close the achievement gap of our male students in the building. When you come on up, what he said that for, I know I was nervous when I first started, but I took on. He said, wait a minute, this is my presentation, but when I first started, took over my own building, I was told I had to make a change. So I started looking over information, and I noticed that the male students and the female students, a big gap. And I said, okay, Lord, how am I going to do this? So it was so many things. It was a racial barrier in the building. I only had one Black teacher, and I started hiring people of color. And I was actually asked in a faculty meeting, why are you hiring all of these people? Those people. That's how it was said. Those people. Principal Kafali, it took everything in my head to stay professional. And kind of overlooked the question in the faculty meeting. Then I took the person to the side So I had to ask for an answer to what do you mean by those people? And so we had the deep conversation. And make a long story short, I went back to my office and I said, okay, I got to change this building. I'm new here in this district. I got to make changes. So what I did was I called a meeting with all the male students in the building from kindergarten through sixth grade, because it was a K through 6 building at the time. And I asked them, why are we failing you? I didn't ask them, why are they failing? Because my thought, you can't fail at something if you don't know it. You don't know how. So I asked them, why are we failing you? Things came out, was like, I don't like the books in the classroom. They are, they're not, I don't like the books. My teachers is constantly picking on me and, etc. And I listened to everything. I wrote them down. And so my first thing, I went out and bought all classroom library sets. I got it was the Muhammad Ali's collection set, and I got, to meet the needs of both males and females in the classroom. I went into the classrooms and I started taking note on how many times, because I basically had all female teachers of non-blacks, and watched how many times they called on a female versus a male. Okay. I was in one classroom one time, this young man was trying to give an answer, and he fell out of his chair, and the teacher said, go to the office. And I'm standing there. I didn't say anything. I said, okay. So after class, I asked, I said, why did you send him out? Well, he was playing. He fell on the floor, playing around. I said, no, he was trying to give you an answer. He just slipped out of the chair. And what I noticed was that more likely having a female teacher will call on a female before they call on a male. And I started seeing other things when I was going in and observing. I said, okay, I got to make a change for this. I have to be an advocate for my male students. Mm-hmm. I brought in mentors to meet with my male students. I did research on the community, the students that I had. 98% of my male students were being brought up by females, whether it was a mother, a grandmother, a sister, or aunt. They had no one to look up to. So I had to be the woman of change for my building. I had to make a shift change with my staff. It was so much. It was a lot. And I stopped looking at my challenges as something negative. I looked at them as a means of growth. It was growing me and helping me change in the lives of others. It was a lot for me starting out as a principal and not having a great support base or mentor. I had to reach out and get those people to help me. And when I made the change and was able to change staff out, when I was told I had to change the school from low performing, it took me 2 years for Roosevelt Elementary. We became a spotlight school. Then my district asked me to go into another school within the district. I made the change within a year because I had to change the mindset of others. And when I stopped looking at my challenges as something negative and looking at it as a means of growth, everything went smooth.
Wow. And see what I'm hearing, I use that word unorthodox. Mm-hmm. And I'm really hearing the same thing because, you went outside of the school walls in terms of the boys and you found those men. Mm-hmm. I mean, I did the same thing. I knew that, my situation, your situation in terms of who the boys are going home to. They're going home to their mothers, right? So if I can find these men, these men that my boys can relate to, identify with, who can bring them a perspective that they may not necessarily be getting, it becomes a game changer. But I have to have the courage to step outside of the proverbial box in order to do things that are unconventional in order to meet the needs and forge those relationships with those young people.
Yeah, you have to step out of the box. You have to take risk. If you stay in your comfort zone, you'll never grow. You'll never stretch. And something that I did too, I identified some male students along with my team that were considered to be the boys from hell. Okay. And I says, no, they're not. They just need someone to help them. So I started a same-sex classroom before it was even law, before you can even do that. I did that. Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes, I did. And we had a board member, and I took all these male students that was considered to be bad. They weren't bad, they were just misunderstood. And we had a board member who was walking around, and he came to my office, and my last name was Weathersby then. He said, Principal Weathersby, he says, I noticed you got a classroom full of boys over there. I said, oh, really? I says, oh, they were just splitting up. I said, Miss So-and-so probably got the females, and he has to talk about grooming and all of that. He says, but no, I like what's going on in there. So I stood back. I said, yes, I do have an all-male classroom. And I was told I couldn't do it. The superintendent told me I couldn't do it. So I had to come back into my office and step out on faith. And my thought was, if I was going to get fired for doing something right that was best for my students, then God has got another door open for me, you know. So I did it anyway. These young men, because of me wanting to make a difference, went on to the junior high. This teacher followed them all the way up into the junior high setting, which was connected to the building. And as a result, every one of them graduated with honors, every one of them, and moved on. So you have to step out. Building administrators out there, even APs, teachers, you have to take a risk. If you stay in your comfort zone, you will never stretch. You will never grow. Because even with my teachers, when they would come to me, I allow my teachers to be creative. Do what you got to do to make a difference, because the programs that the districts bring in and tell you you have to utilize them is not a one fix all. You got to go out of the box and do what's best for the students, the individual students you have before you. You cannot teach to a group. You have to reach them individually. And all these programs is not the one fit all. It's not.
I'm just jotting down something you said. You know, I'm gonna repeat it to everybody that's out here watching. You've got to leave your comfort zone. Right? You've got to be able to deal with discomfort, right? And as you know, I don't know how comfortable I want to say what I'm getting ready to say. But I'm gonna say it anyway, because you just said it. You felt comfortable in putting your job on the line for young people. Anybody that knows me, particularly in Jersey, knows that I did the exact same thing, and I almost paid the price for it. I had a termination hearing, right? Because I put the kids first. I put me second. I put my job second, right? I put them first, paid a price. Everybody knew about it. It was all over the media, right? Print, broadcast, radio, television, everything. But after that hearing, that boy said, report back to school tomorrow, right? So sometimes, and so the reason I said I'm not fully comfortable saying this, because I don't want to come across as I'm advocating for everybody that will see this or watching live to put your job on the line, right? Everybody's not the same. Everybody can't do that, and everybody doesn't have a plan B, plan C, plan D. But some of us who particularly understand the calling, understand the ancestors giving us guidance, understand that sometimes you got to go against the grain. Like I say to folks all the time, you know, when you read history, there's certain people that you admire, you like them, you love them, you hang their photos up on the wall, their posters in the classroom and so forth. Me in my office, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Carter G. Woodson, Sojourner Truth, and Harriet Tubman. I never led a school without those five in my office. But here's the thing, all five of them and anybody else I named all had one thing in common. They went against the grain.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that we know them. They went against the grain. When you in there just perpetuating status quo, when you know the system is not working for all children, then you become a part of the problem. You got to get in there and shake things up and make change, but you got to form strategic alliances with people as well, which is inclusive of your parent community.
That's right. That's right. Someone just made a comment on here about principles of color or threatened.
I wanted to see if you wanted to handle it or not.
Yeah, to handle people. You know what? Principles of color should not be threatened. I don't care if it's a principal, AP of color or not. Don't be threatened by your AP or someone knowing just as much as you or more than you. It makes your job easier to have someone that's knowledgeable. You, just because you are a principal doesn't mean you know everything. So don't be threatened that somebody know. It's always going to be somebody out there that's going to know more than you. Yeah. And if they do, that makes your job easier. So don't be threatened. I never was threatened. And like I said, I believe in pushing people on, you know, so they can go above me. That's my high. That's my thrill. When I see people soar, when they go up, I love it. So don't be threatened by that. It makes your job easier.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
And that's what they think. I mean, and just to piggyback on that, understand young principals out there, new principals, APs. There are people on your staff, teachers, who know more than you, right? So it's not to try to come across like I know more than everybody on that staff. It's to tap into all that human capital that's on your staff, right? Not trying to be smarter than someone that you know you're not smarter than, right? They've been in education for 30 years and you ain't but 30 years old, right? They know something, so you want to tap into them. That's how we do that. Let me keep moving. So Principal Jeter, in 2000, you became the principal in the Chicago area, and you remained a principal of 3 different schools over a 17-year period until you retired in June of 2017. I know you have a zillion stories and lessons to tell that you could share about those 17 years. But, you know, within the African-American community, because we're talking Women's History Month, we're talking women of color in leadership. So within the African-American community, our conversations are endless relative to the challenges of being Black and female, or being Black and male as principals. So my question to you then, did you experience any unique or particular challenges relative to being a Black woman in school leadership that our viewers can learn from this morning? If so, what were they?
The challenges that I faced was someone telling me what I can't do and challenge me saying, no, it's not going to work. How can you tell me this if you never tried it? Don't tell me what I cannot do, because I can do all things. Don't tell me what I can't do. As a matter of fact, when I was challenged, when people would tell me what I could not do, that made me do even more, because I wanted to prove to them, not only can I do this, but I'm a bag of chips. I can do a lot more, you know? So I did not allow anyone defeat me. That made me, when I was challenged, telling me no, that made me say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. You know, I can tell you a story. When I was coming up in school, I was in elementary school, and at that time we were students were tested with the what is that, Illinois Basic Skills Test. I can't remember the name. I had a principal. My whole family was in education. My father was an engineer, and I actually had a principal who called my mom into the building, had me in the office. And she actually told my mother I wouldn't amount to anything. This was a Black principal that told me I wouldn't amount to anything because I couldn't test high on the Iowa Basic Skills Test. That's what it was. And I just sat there, told me that I should have been in special ed. And as a child, That didn't hurt me because I was brought up in an environment of not letting people tell you what you can't do. So, and I praise God for that. So, as a result of that, I went on to high school, graduated in 3 years with honors, top number two. Number two.
Wow.
Went on to college, graduated in 3 years, honors. So when I got my first when I went down to the board to get my first teaching assignment, I asked to be placed in this school. And I'm going to say it because I think she's long gone now. Hookway Elementary School in the West Chatham area in Chicago. And I asked to be placed there. So when I walked in the office, you know, because everybody lived in the family, it was a family oriented community. The teachers lived in the community. I walk in and she go, "Oh, hi, Dot Dot." And I said, "Hello." I'm not going to say her name because I don't know, family might be on here. And I said, "How are you?" And she said, "You here to see your father?" I says, "No, I've been assigned here." And she says, "What? I don't have any custodian positions open." I said, "No, I've been assigned here as a teacher." And her eyes bucked. And I said, "Can I see you in your office, please?" And I walked in and I told her, I said, "Miss Zorza, don't you ever in your life tell another child, let alone a Black child, that they won't amount to anything." I said, "But I thank God that I was brought up in an environment where my parents taught me, don't be defeated. Don't allow people to tell you what you can't do." Because some kids out here, you tell them they can't do nothing, they down in the dumps. But I was brought up to always believe in myself. And I told her, I said, "Don't you ever do that again." And I said, and that's all I wanted to say. And I said a few other things that I don't want to say on live. And I left. And she said, "Well, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going back down to the board to be reassigned. I just wanted the opportunity to come in here to tell you this." So needless to say, don't allow people to tell you what you can't do for your students, for your staff. You are the leader. You know best. You create that environment in your building. Don't be defeated. Prove your worth. Prove the greatness. You were born with special gifts. You have to demonstrate those gifts. You got 12 powers. So I will always tell people, I am power and I am powerful for the people I have before me.
That's an amazing story, and I know that any of us who experienced what you did as a child in terms of that messaging would love to be able to confront that individual as an adult. So I'll say this too, because we got a lot of young leaders on here every week. I will say this now to those folks who are watching. Imagine, if you will, that you brought some low standard of expectation to a youngster that you serve every day, whether it be verbal, whether it be your actions, whether it be a placement, whatever it is, that you demonstrated some low standard, some low level of expectation, even if it was verbal, as Principal Jeter received when she was younger. Imagine 10, 20 years later, you run into that person and that person said to you the same thing. How would you receive that? Right? Just ponder that for a minute. How would you receive that if you run into that youngster as an adult and they share with you, "This is what you said to me"?
Yeah, you got to be, you have to be, and think about that, because you have to understand that child that you had before you got to understand that's just not somebody else's child. That's your child too.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that child that you put down to say that they'll never amount to anything, they're not nothing, that child may have to stand over your body one day and determine should they pull that plug or leave that plugged in. You never know. I remember when my father was going through cancer treatment, and when I was taken to his first round of chemo, and I walked in and I saw one of my former students, and she go, "Hi, Miss Weathersby." But my last name was Jeter then. And I said, "Hi, how you doing?" And she said, "What are you here for?" I said, "My dad is coming here for his first chemo treatment." And I said, the first thing I said, "Did I suspend you?" Did I do anything to you? I started thinking, and she says, no, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. But that makes you think, because you never know those students that if you put them down, they may have to make a decision for you one day. Yeah. And not only students, but your staff. You get hardcore with your staff. You walk around, I'm the principal. You got to understand, principal is a title. You can have it today and taken away from you tomorrow. And that staff member that you put down or you mistreated because you just didn't like them. Because sometimes, people wear their feelings. And, sometimes I'm going to put that out there, females. Sometimes we carry our feelings with us. And, just because somebody dressed better or look better, I don't like her. That person may be your boss one day. So, you just treat people fair. Just be fair and honest and open-minded. Be practical. Be a person. Just don't wear your feelings. I know when I was a principal, before I would go into my building, we had this plastic plant out the door. So before I would come in, I would rub on the leaf. And it was a student sitting in the building one particular time. My mother had dropped her off early. And she said, Miss Weathersby, she said, every time I see you in the morning, you rubbing on that plant. What are you rubbing off? I said, I'm not rubbing off anything. I'm rubbing on. She said, well, what are you rubbing on? I said, my thoughts, my feelings that are not right for my building and for my staff and my students. So whatever problems, any thoughts I had that was not focused on what I am as a person or what I was going to do today, I left them outside that building. And when I left in the evening, if I wanted to pick them up and take them back home, I did it by rubbing on it. But I left all my thoughts, my feelings outside that building. I never brought them in.
We got to stay there for a second before we move on. You good on time?
I'm good. I'm on fire right now. I'm blazing now. I'm blazing.
I don't have a whole lot more, but I got to stay there. I was you because I refused to see. In my case, I refused to watch the news before school because I didn't want that in my spirit. It could be something very negative, but I had people in my, I guess you could say, my circle who knew I didn't watch the news, listen to the news, who, if there were things I needed to be aware of as it related to my leadership, they would inform me, right? Because I wanted to come in there as just sort of an empty vessel relative to just, I'm on fire, my energy is high, and I'm ready to lead at a high level again. And I don't want something that's going to weigh me down, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then all that news that I do need to know, I picked that up after school.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I did that. So I'm saying to somebody out there watching, be careful of what you let inside here and here. Be careful because you got to be up here when you walk into that building. Your staff and students are dependent upon you to be up here. But if you got stimuli that's holding you to the ground, then it may be very difficult for you to soar. Right.
That's
so
right.
Be mindful of what you allow inside.
That's
right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yes, you have to be, you have to understand leaders. You not only just leaders, but you as a person in your life, your world, and your affairs. You are your own experience. And what I mean by that, it's your thoughts. You have to watch your thoughts, your words, your feelings, your actions, and your reactions. You create your own experiences. You are your own experience. So when you're up against something, things are not going right, you got to step back. Like Principal Kafele say with that mirror, you got to look at yourself in that mirror and say, is it I? Don't put blame on other people first. You got to look at you first. You first. And I used to always tell my teachers and everybody, just because you go to school to become a teacher, become a principal, even become a superintendent, anybody can get A's and B's on the test and pass the test and everything. But if it's not in here, if it's not coming from here, you are not going to be effective. You're not going to be effective. And words are powerful. You got to understand that. Words are very powerful.
Yeah.
You have to watch your words. You have to watch your thoughts, because actually you create your own experience before you experience it. You're creating that experience in your thoughts. And then they work outside. As within, so without. So you have to be mindful of all of that.
That's right.
Mindful. Oh, I'm getting on a roll like that. And then, you have to set your goals.
Yeah.
Because if you don't set goals, measurable goals, if you aim at nothing, you're going to hit nothing dead on the head.
Wow. If you aim at nothing, you're going to hit nothing dead on the head.
Yes.
Woo! I gotta steal that one from you. I gotta steal that one.
Go ahead. I believe that was wait, it'll come to me. Les Brown.
Okay.
Les Brown.
And real quick before I move on, I don't usually do a shout out this late, but I got to shout out Jihad El-Amin. That's my man. He's out there in Knoxville, Tennessee. I ain't seen him in years, but I remember him when I was working with his school. So shout out to you, Jihad. Good to see you. Let's keep moving. Principal G, the grad school programs tend to prepare the generic leader, right? But do not necessarily prepare a student of color to be an effective leader of color in a very color conscious world. In other words, as a principal, speaking for me, I refuse. In fact, I wrote a whole blog on Facebook last week. I said, I refuse to suppress or deny my Black identity. I embraced it. I embraced being a Black principal, and it drove who I was as the principal. So in other words, sometimes we feel I gotta sort of suppress my racial ethnic identity in order to make it work for me. And I wasn't that guy. I walked into that building every day as a Black principal with a Black agenda because my students were Black. And then when they were Black and brown, with a Black and brown agenda. I didn't come in there as a generic, but the grad school doesn't prepare one for that unless you got a special professor who sees that you're Black and your experience is going to be Black, or you're brown and you're going to have a brown experience as a leader, or whatever. So my question to you, to that end, for our audience out there, and particularly the assistant principals of color who aspire to become principals, what advice do you have for them about being able to navigate the principalship as leaders of color while intentionally maintaining their racial, cultural authenticity within their leadership?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say is going to grad school does not prepare you for the real life of what you're going to experience. All you're getting is a lot of book knowledge to pass a test, to pass the principal exam or whatever exam. It is not real life experience. You have to be strong and stand up on knowing who you are and whose you are. You're not going to get that Black experience. You're not even if you had instructors that were Black themselves, you are not going to get it. You're not, because they got to follow a certain agenda. You got to stand out and know who you are and whose you are, and go out there and do you and show your greatness as being a Black administrator, a Black person. You have to, because that's just book knowledge. That's just, like I said, that's just for you to pass that test. That is not your true experience. So you got to demonstrate your greatness as a Black person.
And let's stay here for a minute. For the newbies that are watching, the aspiring folks that are watching, the assistants that are watching, I'm not sitting here saying to be a revolutionary in a stereotypical way. I am saying to be a revolutionary in terms of bringing about some real serious change within that school that you're leading. I'm just not saying you got to go in there and raise the black fist, right?
Mhm.
So for me, I said these are black children who are growing up in this world as it is, and I got to prepare them. I got to lead the effort because it's not just me; it's my staff.
Mhm.
So let's talk about staff. Staff, I need staff, even though I don't have all black staff. I need staff with the same agenda that I have. So there's some undoing, some unraveling that has to occur from me as instructional leader, from me as professional developer, and begin to expose staff to the kind of material that they need to connect with these black children in these cities in Palm, which I
Mhm.
live, right?
Mhm.
And but if you and I folks out there don't have the courage, the backbone, the spine to be the leader that you must be, not the leader that you could be, but the leader you must be for the students that you are leading, then you got to go here and ask the question, then why am I doing this work in the first place?
Yes,
Jump in here, Principal
you
G.
have to. You have to, because you know you even have to watch the people of color that you have for teachers in your building, because some of them cannot relate. Um, they have to know how to connect with the students that they have before them. I had a situation one time where a teacher was constantly talking about the kids in the classroom, and it was near Christmas time, and the kids, she was just saying they're out of order. And I just went to go talk to her. I says, have you ever been without? And he says, no, my parents always done for me. That's why you can't relate to these kids that you got before you.
Yeah.
You have to understand where they're coming from. Here it is, almost Christmas time, and you standing up before them saying, what are you getting for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? And that child is back there knowing they're not going to get anything. And they start acting up so they can remove themselves from the situation. See, you got to understand that students a lot of times don't act out because they want to be bad. They act out when they want to be removed from a situation where they're not feeling comfortable. You've got to learn how to connect with the students you have before you. And the way you do that is research. Look at what's in your community. Drive around in your community.
Yeah.
See where they're living and what's going on. I used to love going around during the summertime and see what goes on. I saw some sites where I was going down this one street and going slow, just looking around, and this one father jumped up out of the chair. He was sitting outside with his 50, going, "Hey, principal, how you doing? You want some barbecue?" I mean, it was like really wild. But you got to go out and see what you have before you so you can connect. You have to connect.
Hey, Principal Jeter, let's both address Belinda Boyd. And Jihad El Amin had the same exact concern. So I'm sure there are others. Let me throw my 2 cents and then you jump in. They're asking, how do you create that vision from a staff that has no idea? And I'm gonna give you the short answer, Belinda, for now, and then maybe in a subsequent broadcast we could really unpack it, because I want to be respectful of Principal Jeter's time, because we're already over an hour. But here's the thing, Belinda, as principal, one of my primary roles is that of teacher. I have to teach, right? But I don't mean teacher of students now, teacher of staff. But I also have to, just as I do as a presenter, as a speaker, I have to read the room. The professional terminology for that is audience analysis. I have to analyze the audience, because the audience in Detroit is not going to be the same audience in Great Falls, Montana for me. Those are two very different worlds. So I have to read the audience and know how to bring my message to that audience, how to deliver that so that I can keep the audience with me, keep the audience captivated while I teach from the stage or the platform, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So as a principal, I may have staff whose politics are diametrically opposed to mine, but they're on my staff. So my role is one of beginning to expose and to teach, right? But not bam in your face, because I'm gonna lose them. So I'm a massage it, I'm a maneuver it, right? So that ultimately I got that staff understanding, oh, I understand Principal Gafele now. I understand his passion. I understand his leadership mission and vision and purpose, right? But I have to build that. But if I just go first day of school, bam, this is where you got to be, I'm going to have a very disgruntled staff, right? Even though there are folks who do not see the world the way I see it, through those people skills and understanding how to work with different people, I can slowly bring them around to where I need them to be. That's my short response. Let me go to Principal Jeter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you said you were going to respond. You know, that's you have to reach out and let them connect with the students so they know where they're coming from. I had someone to come in when I had the all-white staff. I had Jawanza Kanjufu come in. And he's not nice. He's straightforward. In other words, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. So I had him to come in, not only help my staff, but help the district, because there was a racial issue within the district. But you got to have people that's on board to have the same vision as you, and they have to reach out and understand their students that they have. I had a situation when I was a teacher where I would stand at the door and greet my students every morning, say good morning, collect homework. And I had the 7th grader walk up to me when I said, good morning, Eric. And he said, and I said, where's your homework, Eric? He said, F your homework. Now, I didn't get bent out of shape, because I was working in Inglewood. And if anybody know about Inglewood, a high crime area, gangs, I didn't get bent out of shape like some teachers would do. I waited, got my class started, and I called him out in the office, in the hall, and I said, what's going on, Eric? Because I know that wasn't his character. He said, Ms. Weatherby, you just don't know. I had to cook dinner. My mother never did come home. I had to help my sister with our homework. And you want me to do your homework? Hell no, you know. I had to understand where he was coming from. But some teachers would have gotten bent out of shape and go, oh, go to the office. You told me to go book me, you know. No. Understand your students. You got to understand that students do not, they don't get up in the morning and said, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get on so-and-so's nerves. You know, something happens between home and school. There's something. Get to know your students. The only way that you can get to know your students is by talking to them, greeting them. A lot of times you can nick things in the bud before they even make it to the classroom, just by the way you say good morning, and they have this look on your face and you go, come on, baby, let's talk. What's going on? You have to connect, and you have to have people on staff that share the same vision, that try, even if they never experienced it, they need to try to understand it.
Yeah.
Understand it.
And you probably have to train them.
Yes, you do. You have to bring situations, and you do have to train them. Yeah. But I just thank God I had I developed a beautiful team, a beautiful staff. And then when the district asked me to go on to take over another school to because it was low performing, I said only if I can bring my staff. Okay. And the board allowed me, because I said I don't have time to train another staff. That's going to take some time, because if they knew better, they would have been doing better. I didn't have time to train them. I said, I need to take my staff with me. And every staff member was on board. I didn't even have to ask them. I said, we're going, because they knew what my vision, they knew what my expectations, and they knew what we had to do. So we were on board. But you got to make a connection, not only to your students, but your staff and to your parents. You don't know how many parents I have talked to. I have purchased dinner, paid light bills, and all this stuff, and just to name a few, because my superintendent should always ask me, what do you do? I don't know what I do, because I do it for my heart. I don't do it for gratitude. I just do what I have to do to make a connection, to make things work.
Wow.
And I still do it.
What a blessing.
Still do it.
Yeah, what a blessing for them. I got 2 more short questions, and then we do that rapid fire, and then we you know, you're gonna regret that you pulled me in. No, this is great, man. I'm reading these comments. This is great. You know, I for me, I can honestly say that my passion for African American history shaped who I became as a school leader. I mean, I say that unapologetically. Had I not been such a voracious reader of African American history, I know I wouldn't have been the leader I was. I may have been a leader, but I may not have been a leader. I may not even been an educator, but if I was, it wouldn't have been driven by that foundation of being just grounded in African American history. So my question to you, as a leader and woman of color, in your case, Black woman, did women are there women in African American history that that influenced your leadership, influenced who you were as leader based on your study of those individuals?
Oh, I can't. Wow, you put yeah, you put me on the spot because it's so many. But what I'm going to put out a name out here that probably someone is not familiar with, because you always, and when Black history is being taught, they always talking the ones that are deceased and gone. I must say Johnny Coleman, Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman.
Yeah,
I mean, because she taught me that don't sit back and complain. Pick up your bed and walk. Stand up on your two big spiritual feet and do what you gotta do. As a Black woman and as a female, because she was told that she couldn't do, she couldn't build a mega church and do what she did, but she didn't let people stop her. So I have to say that I have to put that shout out to Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman.
Yeah.
I really do. I truly do.
I love it, and I'll ask, and here Stacy Joy said she worked with her. I worked with her.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I'm a Johnny baby. She put me through college, helped me go through college. Yes.
So,
I am a Johnny baby.
So I will just put the question out there rhetorically to the folks who are viewing. Who out there inspires you? Right? Is there someone that you get to those points where it gets a little difficult, it gets a little challenging? Who is that person, whether it be someone you know or someone in history, that you say, wait a minute, they went through worse than I'm going through, right? And you draw inspiration from that person. And I'm putting that out there for everybody watching and who will see the video, because sometimes we've got to be able to draw from that energy, right? Because times can get really difficult, times can get very overwhelming. But if you can reflect back on someone, or even if it's someone contemporary who has dealt with the same, but has been able to overcome it, right? So there are people, whether it be people I know or people I don't know, that I think back on, they went through this. They got through this. Why can't I? Right? So I don't want to isolate myself ever. Like Karima Anquay, Mary McLeod Bethune is another individual. Because I mean, I won't even go into the history, but there's a lot of history there. And that's certainly one of those ancestors to draw from, right? I got one more for you.
Well, I want to throw out something.
Yeah.
One person that you brought on that really inspired, and I'm going to seek out more from her, is something about Shanika Houston. I don't know.
Yeah, she's on here now.
I don't know. When you brought her on, I don't know, her name just sticks out with me. And that just, as a Black woman, and to see someone Black of color go out there, it puts me on fire.
This is her.
I don't know that much about her. I'm learning more about her, but for some reason she inspires me, because I said, Dawn, I wish I should have did that, because I have so much up here. And I have my former assistant principal, Dr. Patricia Moore. She's not on Facebook or anything, but she's always getting on me, Don, when are you going to write your book? When are you going to write your book? She even bought me this nice leather portfolio and pen. Say, get started, because you got so much knowledge up here. Don't bury it with you. I'm going to get there. But when I look at the Shanika Houstons and some of these others, I'm going, there's no excuse. I should be doing this. I got this. I can put this out there. But she inspires me. She inspires me.
Well, this is where it's what I just put on the screen, Create and Educate. That's her. So she hears you loud and clear.
Oh, wow. Shanika, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
It's Shika. But
Is it Sheikah? Okay, I might have.
let me holler at you for a second, Sheikah. And you probably know what I'm getting ready to say. Listen, it's been you know I've had a lot of guests on this show, Sheikah. You know that. But for whatever reason, this guest, Principal Jeter, zeroed in on you, right? So you take that however you want to take it. Maybe it means it's time to write that next book. Maybe it means it's time to do this, it's time to do that. But of all the guests, and you know I've had some internationally renowned people on this platform, but Principal Jeter said, Sheikah Houston. I'm gonna leave that right there.
That's right. That's right. And I'm a visionary. I see things in people that they don't see them themselves. Like my parents saw in me. I just it's something that sticks out.
Yeah.
Hand claps for you.
There it is.
Yes.
It is. There it is. Let me. I got one more for you. Then we go to that rapid fire. Principal Jeter, currently you serve as a mentor of new principals, as I said in the bio, first, second, and third year through Governors State University in Illinois. That I consider that an amazing retirement position. I'd like to do that, to be very frank with you. But considering the APs and aspiring APs and new principals who are in our audience this morning, or now it's afternoon. No, it's still morning on the West Coast at 9:30. So what's that non-negotiable advice that you would give somebody watching today that they, as it relates to their role as instructional leaders? So let me say that again. What's that non-negotiable advice that you would give someone watching this morning as it relates to who they must be in the capacity of instructional leader?
You must be intentional. You must be supportive as an AP. Be intentional in what you do. Be supportive. Be thirsty. You have to be thirsty. And what I mean by that, thirsty to learn and to grow. You have to be thirsty. If you can't get your water where you are, seek elsewhere and get your water. Go to another store. Be thirsty.
Be thirsty.
I used to love that when I had someone that told me, and she may be online. I'm going to throw her name out there, Darlene McMillan. She came to me and she says, I want to be a building principal one day. I said, no, it's okay, but you need to take steps. And I said, so you want to be a leader? One day said, yes. I said, it's okay. Then it's on. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know. And she came to my office and she was crying. And she said, well, you hurt my feelings. Because I got on about something she didn't think about. You have to think. You have to be a fast thinker. And I sat back in my chair and I says, okay, now suck up your tears and then go out there and do what you got to do. Because I believe principalship, leader, AP, it's not an easy job. You got to be thirsty and you got to have tough skin. People gonna hurt your feelings. People gonna try to defeat you. People gonna bring you down. Be thirsty, AP. Be thirsty. You can do it. You can do it. If you're doing it for the right things, you can do it. Be thirsty.
Be thirsty. I love it. I love it. Well, look here, we right there at time for the rapid fire. As I call my BAM impact questions. So let's jump into it. Let me just get them back up because I hit the wrong button. And here we are. It's one word or one sentence max.
I'll try.
Folks struggle with it. They struggle with it, but let's see what we could do here. Rapid fire, 21 questions. Here we go. Is education on the right path for underserved children?
No.
Can true equity, and we didn't even talk about equity, but can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
Yes, if the mindset changes.
Does your work, Principal Jeter, contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Yes, because I'm all that in a bag of chips.
There you go. There you go. That's that confidence that we need.
Yes.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
The same.
Why do you continue to do the work that you do?
My babies, my children.
What fires you up within the work that you do?
My mentors, my proteges making a difference for their children.
What do you love about the work you do?
Touching and inspiring others.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
The bull crap and with the state and the politics.
Yeah.
Not being real, practical.
Yeah. What has been your greatest victory in this work, whether it be it principal, teacher, AP, or what you currently do?
Moving people out of their comfort zone, stretching them.
What was your greatest mistake?
Retiring. I retired because of my mother was not doing well. She was bedridden, so I wanted to take care of my mom, but she passed away, once I retired. So yeah.
Okay. What has been your greatest challenge?
Making people change.
Are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal?
No.
Are you proud of your first year as a principal?
Yes, I was on my own.
Who inspires you in this work?
My family, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, and my friends.
What are you reading right now?
Ooh. Well, my book is right here. Well, I have two books that I'm reading, and Live Happy by Derek Wells, How to Live a Happy Life, 365 Practices, and Mind and Grind by Gavin Jackson. And and also I'm reading three books. The Magic of Thinking Big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, awesome books. And I finished reading all of your books, especially this one.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah.
What book do you recommend for our viewers then?
Oh, it's all your book, of course, your latest book, of course, but books from Robert Jackson and Alfred Tatum and Anthony Muhammad, just to name a few. Todd Whitaker. And what's one I read that's Other People's Children. I think it's Lisa Del right. I can name a whole lot of them that are good, very good books.
Yeah, good stuff. Stuff. We're moving on. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet?
What I want to accomplish, be the number one top mentor in the state of Illinois.
That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. Are you satisfied with where you are right now professionally?
Ooh, no. I got more to do. No.
And what could you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors?
You just the right door hasn't opened up for you. Don't give up. You're going to always have that frustration of doors closing on you. It's just not your right door. You have the key to your door. And when that time comes, that door is going to open up and stay open, because what is given to you and is for you cannot be taken away from you.
And what could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
You better get you some charcoal fluid and light it again and keep going. Rise, light your fire. Sit back, take a deep breath, meditate, and get yourself back on board. Focus, and get yourself back on fire. Don't give up. Don't give up, because you're going to be faced with challenges. You're going to be faced with disappointments, but you learn from it and keep going. Just stand up on your two big spiritual feet and keep going.
Love it. Last one. If Principal Dot McKeever Jeter was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Oh, come on. I'm more than just one word. I'm a compassionate, I guess, tenacious. I'm just compassionate, devoted, committed, tenacious. Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to stop. Not going to let anybody stop me.
Wow. You know, we've come to the conclusion, but before I formally close, I see something. Someone asked, "Did anyone write down the book?" So Rochelle wants you to put those 3 books that you were reading. Just put those back in.
Okay.
She wants to read them.
The Magic of Thinking Big. Awesome book. Because you know what? You can't, if you want big dreams, you cannot think small. You know, good book. Mind and Grind is how to transform your life, world, and affairs in a positive way. Yes. And Live Happy. 365 daily practices on living happy. Practical suggestions and ideas and activities. Very good. It keeps me going. Yes. And of course.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Felix.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, let me do what you just did. If you don't have your copy yet of the Equity and Social Justice Education 50, get it now. But let me say that say to you, Principal Jeter, I appreciate you. This was extraordinary conversation. And,
yes, it was.
Yeah,
can I add one more thing? Because there's probably some listeners on here. You know, I was also up against situations where people felt that because you did not go to school to get a doctor's degree, that you know you're not good enough for certain positions, even superintendents. You know, some board members feel that you have to have a doctor's degree to show that you're good, you're great. Let me tell you, viewers out there, a doctor's degree does not prove what you can do and what you cannot do. It does not make you as a person. It's a title. Continue showing your greatness. Don't let anyone say because you don't have your doctor's degree, you cannot be in certain positions. That's what they want. Just keep showing your greatness. When I was honored with my doctor's degree, like someone told me, people paid for theirs. You got recognized for the work that you do. You know, and then I was born with my doctor's degree because my name is Dorothy Rochelle. So God knew that I was already a doctor. So don't be defeated because you don't have a doctor's degree. Baby, show your greatness. Female, stand up. Show your muscle. Show what you got. Show your greatness.
I love it. I love it. Hey, folks, if you enjoyed the time you were on, some of you were on from the beginning to now, just hit us up with that fire. Hit Principal Jeter up with some fire emoji, some thumbs up, some whatever, some praise, whatever it is that you use to let her know that you appreciate the knowledge that was shared today. Just drop it right in them comments, and I'm looking at them. I see them. Here they come. Yeah, appreciate
your goals.
Everything. Yeah, appreciate y'all. You know, that's why this platform was created. You know, we trying to help folks to grow in this business and ain't asking for a dime to do it, right? Just want folks to tune in on Saturday morning and soak in this knowledge. You know, I don't think that anything like this has ever been created, you know, where you don't have to go to the conference. You can just get up on Saturday morning and tune in.
For free.
You know who's in here?
For free.
For free.
Yes. So write your goals and take action. Take action.
That's it. So Prince, I keep wanting to say Doc, right? So Principal Jeter.
Go ahead.
I know, right? Principal Jeter, let them know how they can follow you on social media. And
I know you said before, I remember you saying you got to get on Twitter and all that. I got to figure out how I got to get my daughter is my technology person. So, but you can find me on Facebook at .McKeever-Jeter.
Yeah, okay. And I got it right there.
And you can email me at .Jeter@gmail.com. I am here. If you need a listening ear, because when you up there on top, you're by yourself sometimes. You need people that you can talk to bump off things for you. I'm here. My phone stays on 24/7. You know, I had a protege, Neil from a district, Reese Neil. She used to call me 11, 12 o'clock at night. I don't care. If you need me, I am here. I am practical. I can feel you. I've been there. I can help you. And I'm here for you.
There it is. So you all know how to stay connected and see the post and all that kind of stuff. So that's good stuff. I'm getting ready to close us out. Principal Jeter, just stay.
Oh, I was just getting started. I was nervous at the beginning. Now, good thing I'm on platform because I'll be standing up and moving because I got to go. I'm loving it.
Yeah, you know we're gonna have you back on here. You know we're gonna have you back. So stand by. Even when I sign off, stand by because I want to talk to you off mic. So folks, next week join us at 10:55 Eastern time, and I got Dr. Lynn Mara Cologne from out of Prince William County in Virginia. So we're gonna be live 10:55 next Saturday morning on Facebook Live. Make sure you check out Sean Hurt. I think he's coming on tomorrow night because he's speaking today. So just go to his page and you'll see what time it is. But normally he's on Saturdays, 10 o'clock Facebook Live, followed by Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston and Principal Tammy Taylor, soon to be Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30. And then Unlock the Middle on Sunday nights with my man, Josh Tovar. That's MPA Jaguars at 6. Yeah. He says 6. Oh, okay. So Sean is at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and then Josh is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll probably be on the airplane again, Josh. I keep missing you all because I keep flying Sundays. But you know, if I get Wi-Fi on the plane, I'll check you out. And then the Village Leadership Group with Dr. Roz Gaskins and Coach Williams is always Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6. And then I'm not going to promote books. You know what I got. So get them books. Matter of fact, there could be somebody new on here. We showed you the equity. I wrote 12, but I want you. And there you go. So the Assistant Principal 50, got to get your hands on it. And the Aspiring Principal 50, got to get your hands on it. And then you see what Principal Jeter got all my other stuff. Is my school a better school because I lead it and so on. So those books, Closing the Attitude Gap. You can just go to principalkafele.com and you'll see all of my current books that are in print. That's I got 8 in print right now. And then make sure that you subscribe to the Virtual AP Leadership Academy YouTube channel. You can watch all of these. There's 97 of them now, right? We're approaching number 100 coming soon. It'll be the last day of the month, I think. So it's approaching. So be with us. And then like and follow my Virtual AP Leadership Academy Facebook page, right? I've been lax on writing my commentaries for the past 2 weeks now because I just, I've been nonstop, y'all. Hopefully tomorrow, but then I got to fly tomorrow. I'll probably be lax tomorrow unless I write it on the plane, which I probably will because it's a 5-hour flight. So I'll probably write it on the plane. But other than that, folks, I think that's everything. Wear that mask.
Yes.
Put that mask on, y'all. Put that mask on. Right? We trying to get rid of this thing. Put it on. Yes. I won't sit here and tell you to take a shot. That's on you. But I will say unapologetically, put the mask on, man. Let's put the mask on. Right. So with that said, folks, appreciate you being here. To the folks that don't write in the comments, my mother told me don't make sure you don't miss them folks. So the folks that don't write in the comments, I appreciate you for tuning in. You laid back. You might be like out there cutting the grass. You ain't got time to be writing in the comments, right? Or you might be cooking breakfast for the family, whatever it is. But I appreciate you being here. That's the bottom line. Yes. And just keep on tuning in. I'm gonna be doing this for a long time. So with that said, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet.
Yes.
Peace.
Be in it to win it.
It is. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam!
All
right, folks. See you later. Stay there, Principal Jeter.
Yes. Be blessed, everyone.